All right, welcome back to 2022 Roasties, and we've brought in a big gun to kick off the podcast this year. As introed by the legendary Bruce Buffer, it is the UFC Featherweight Champion of the world, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Volk, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks for having me, my man. How you been?
Yeah, real good, thank you. How you been? Been a busy Christmas time, and I see you doing some boxing commentary and things now.
Yeah, mate. It has been busy. It was good. Well-needed family time before we, get into camp. So obviously we're going to kick the year off soon. So it was good to just hang out with the fam and obviously still training. Always train, but I mean, just having arbos off and being with the family and Christmas, New Year's, and all that. That was good. And then obviously still got a couple of gigs here and there. But mate, still enjoying it and just getting ready to get into camp. So it shouldn't be too much longer.
I was going to try and impersonate Bruce Buffer for your intro, but I just knew I couldn't do it justice, and I didn't want you to hang up on the call straight away. So, but rewatching some of your fights, you get pretty amped when Bruce is introing you. Must be a pretty special feeling when it happens live.
Well, it is, mate. Like he's an absolute legend of the sport of the UFC as well. You know what I mean? So it's massive, but just to hear him, it still excites me. It's still cool to hear him. Not only say my name, but, UFC Featherweight Champion of the world, all that type of stuff, you know what I mean? I've been hearing him talk about fighters and for years, you know what I mean? I've always wanted to be there, even though I've been there and I've done it, 8 times now in the UFC or more, sorry. 10 times, sorry. And it's still every time, it's just unreal. He's a legend. And, mate, seeing the intensity he brings every single time, you know what I mean? It's funny, you watch him live, and he hypes himself up. You'll see him no matter what card it is. It could be just a fight night, whatever. And he's before he's about to go on and announce, he's back and forth. He's just pumping himself up, doing I swear he's even doing stretches and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? He's shaking and really getting his vocals ready. I don't know what he does, but he just pumps himself up so he can really bring that intensity. So I love that, mate. He does a great job, and you can see the respect he gets from not only fans but the fighters.
I remember, I think it was the UFC 100, and he did the Buffer 360, and I think he tore his ACL or something. Like he damaged his knee in some way when he did it, but he just kept on going, kept on powering through the show.
That's it, mate. Yeah, he's a professional. He
is. He loves it, mate. Nice. Get into your UFC career in a sec, but you've been doing a little bit of cooking and stuff. Over the Christmas break, you've been doing cooking with Volk. It's been going for a little bit longer, but tell us how's that going? You've been enjoying, the Christmas break, the food, enjoying a beer or two before you get into camp.
Oh man, I just love cooking. I love cooking. I ain't no chef. I'm not the best cook. I just I love jumping on the barbecue. I love cooking, and everyone loves it. You know what I mean? So why not just film it? That's sort of how I am, and I like to have a bit of fun with it. I'm just, I do it again. I ain't going to see these fancy cook-ups where I'm going to, have it neatly, put on a plate and all this, make it look fancy. I ain't like that. It'll taste good. It'll just look like how it looks like at any house anywhere around here. But, I enjoy it. You know what I mean? In saying that, I cook a mean barbie. You know what I mean? I won't sit there and down talk myself too much, because I'm pretty impressed with some of my cooking on the barbecue. Anyway, that's my gig. But I enjoy it. I love it. I love eating, and you'll be surprised, mate. Even in camp, I can still eat a lot of the stuff that I cook. It was funny because last camp, I was doing a lot of the cooking content. Everyone's like, "Where's your training videos? You're meant to be fighting in camp," thinking that all I'm doing is eating. And that's the thing. Sometimes, obviously people see things and, they, come up with their own sort of narrative to a situation or opinion on something. They think, he's not training, he's just eating. But then you go out there and obviously go out there, do your thing, and they'll be like, okay, maybe he was training. I'm training, don't worry about that. I'm training and I'm eating.
I see it so much in the NRL world when, players are on Instagram or doing something, they're like, well, you should be out training after, they might have lost on the weekend. They're like, you should be in training, not making TikToks. And you're like, do you think they train 24/7? Like, give them a break.
Yeah, exactly right, man. But again, it's just that's social media too. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's no matter what you're doing, you could be doing a great job. You can be as respectful as you can. You're probably still going to offend someone. There's still going to be some toxic people out there sometimes, you know what I mean? That's just a part of it. You got to
Yeah.
deal with it. I've been dealing with it a fair bit. Obviously we fight, and not just that. Again, like you can't even get back to everyone. I try and get back to people, but obviously it's hard to keep up. And you'll get people that will just absolutely hate you because I'll finally end up getting back to someone, or I'll like see someone about to write back, and then I can see they just abuse me because I missed a few messages. I'm like, sorry, mate. Like, what do you want me to do? You know what I mean? Like, but anyway, won't get into that. But it's just. Some people can get a little emotional, but I mean, you can't tap into that too much. But in saying all that, we've got a bit off tangent there. But I'm always in the gym. Don't worry about that. Even when I'm cooking, when you see them TikTok videos, trust me, I was busting my ass for hours in the gym before that.
Mate, I've been loving the cooking content. Yeah, I love the simplicity of the. I think it was Volk tacos. You cooked that steak and it just looked superb, and then the ranch and the chili dressing and on a taco, it looked amazing.
No, mate. Well, that's it, mate. You get a couple of key ingredients, and that's what a lot of the food I can do. Anyone can do it. Like you're looking at some of the things I'm cooking, I'm making. A lot of times I put the ones that are just so easy for anyone to cook.
Well, that's one I'm going to be cooking like tomorrow night. Like it just seems so simple, something you can just whip up,
It's nice too, mate. Trust me. Yeah, get the what I use. I'm trying to remember the sauces I use. Was it chili sauce and maybe a ranch? Was it, or was it a aioli? Yeah, chili and ranch. Yeah, it was good. A bit of a coleslaw. Make your own coleslaw. Or you can just get your own coleslaw, whatever, and just put your own sauces in there, or your own chopped up cabbage or whatever it is. And mate, a nice, well cooked steak. Slice it up so it looks good for the camera. And it'll taste good in your gob too.
Now, look, we're talking food. We're talking, you're talking about cutting weight and things like that. You can't go talking Volkanovski and rugby league without mentioning that you were 100-kilo front row at one stage. But now you're fighting at 66 kilos. Like, what do you normally walk around at, like, between camps?
76 is probably the number that I'll be. 76 is probably what I walk around at. Like right now, I'm eating still really good. Like when I say really good, like I'm pretty free with what I eat, and I can still maintain this sort of, this is where we want to be. Like my nutritionist won't tell me to get any lighter till we start camp. You know what I mean? So we always sit at a good weight. I used to fluctuate a lot more. I used to, especially when I was, when I first started coming like down from the weight that I was, I would get up to 86 kilograms. My walk around weight was 86, and then I'll start camp at 86, and then, I'll lose weight in the 8-week camp or whatever it is to 66. And then within a week or something after my fight, I'm back up to 86. You know what I mean? Like it was pretty crazy the way I used to fluctuate. Now I couldn't even get that big, even if I tried. My body wouldn't let me. Yep. It's just different. My body's just slowly over the years. It just went 97, like 93 walk around, 88, 86, 83. 78, now like 76, and now I really struggle to go above that.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's interesting.
It's funny, but I'm talking over 10, 12 years,
Yeah, it's a long time, yeah. It's just amazing, like, especially from like a rugby league perspective. I saw that photo of, I put up a photo of you next to George Burgess on social the other day, like you're half his size. I don't know what he is. He'd be 110, nearly 120. And just to think like you were 100 at one stage and that same height is just amazing.
Yeah, mate. Like that's it. You look at the players like that, and you're like, "Wait, that's the position he played." Like you're trying to tell the Americans that watch it go, "Yeah, this season, the position that I played. These are the guys I played." They're like, "What? Like, how does that work?"
I put it up and I put it up with the caption. I think it was like both of these guys are props. So it was just amazing to see the difference in size.
Yeah,
mate. Congratulations on your.
That's what it.
Sorry, congratulations on your last fight being awarded ESPN's MMA Fight of the Year. Last 2 years have been amazing for you. You won the title, 2 title defences. You've extended your win streak to 20 now. You just feel like right on top of your game at the moment?
Yeah, man, I do. You know what I mean? It's I've always, you bust your ass, for so long, and you do what you've got to do. I'm a competitor, I always have been, and I've always been the type to just do what you got to do. Always will be, so I'm always going to have that mentality. But you know, it's really all starting to pay off now. You know what I mean? So you know, you're starting to get the recognition and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? It's all starting to happen. You obviously the paychecks and all that, the love that you're getting and all that. It's good. You know, it's especially getting a ESPN fighter of the year. That's a big deal. You know, because last year was I think it was one of the biggest years the UFC have had. And, you know, we got the ESPN, fight of the year. So that's pretty cool, mate. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. Again, I've always been a competitor. I've always been the type of guy that, I've got to go out there and I've got to do, you got to do what you got to do to win. I'm always going to have that in me. But right now, it's a little bit more than that. You know, it's how you win as well. You know what I mean? It's the entertainment business. It's the entertainment around the whole, the circus around the whole thing. Again, I'm not going to ever be someone I'm not. But let's have fun with it. Let's play the game a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm always going to be me, and I'm always, I'll stick by that. I'm proud of where I've got to being me. I didn't have to be fake. I didn't have to be someone, I'm not, and I have to, push my own bullshit narratives and carry on and, go against what I've always believed in. I can still do that while still, being entertaining. And then that's something that, that I've really come into sort of knowing. So again, it's like, yeah, mate, you can be yourself. Because I used to be the type of guy that I was so worried about offending people because, that's not me. That's not I've never wanted to offend people. But I've come to realize no matter how nice you are, you're going to offend us. You're going to offend someone. We just talked about that earlier on. So that's really made me be like, all right, man, I know I ain't trying to offend anyone. I'm going to go out there and say what I want to say, play the game, have a bit of fun with it. People want to take it the wrong way. It's on them. That's on them. You know what I mean? And let's just do that. Let's just, and especially the last one, it was good because, we had the hype up, obviously the Ultimate Fighter, and we started to get under each other's skin a little bit, and I was like trying to get in his head and play that game and all that, do that sort of stuff. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well. I enjoyed it, and it got me in a whole nother zone. It was weird. It's hard to explain. Like, it got me in a whole nother level of maybe confidence. I was so much more comfortable. Even walking out, getting booed, like the arena, walking into that arena. They'll boo me. I mean, again, this is a guy coming from Australia, coming onto, their soil and, taking that belt back home to Australia again, you know what I mean? And, they want to stick to their guys, but I'm like, that's not how this is going to play out. But you leave that arena, earning their respect, and completely change. You're getting cheered on your way out as well. So, just do what you got to do. Play the game. At the end of the day, the actions will speak louder than words anyway. So you go out there, prove your worth, prove, what you're saying wasn't all shit, and then people are going to jump aboard. Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, actually, sorry, I should have mentioned before, but because you're speaking about that, and that was actually one of the basis of one of my questions here, and because after UFC 266, you're on in the press conference and you're opening up about it, and you're talking about the entertainment side of it. And I love this quote, and I'll quote it. You said, you'll see me become more of a heel from now on. I'm just going to have a go at everyone. You said it a bit tongue-in-cheek. You did say I was just joking. But, is that,
exactly.
That's what you want to bring out? There's, it's an old wrestling term, the heel and the face, and a good guy and a bad guy. And UFC's sort of gone that way over the last few years, and it's, seeing the numbers go up. There's more money in there. That's something you want to embrace, but you said you want to be the heel. That's the Australian way, isn't it? Like, you're the underdog. It's sort of like a heel.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird. Like, it depends exactly how you want to use that term. Heel as in, like, a lot of times people are playing the heel as in, bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, that type of, look, I'm never going to be that type of guy. But I told you, mate, you're going to have guys. It's like you wear a jersey, right? The jersey you wear. I've said this a few times in a few interviews. The jersey you wear, the other team with their jersey, they're going to hate you no matter what you do, just because of the color of the jersey you're wearing. You know what I mean? So they're going to think you're the heel, no matter how nice you are. That's just how it is. So, right, what I mean by that is, look, I'm not going to go out there and I'm not going to start, insulting people's families and all that type of stuff. Just to, that's not me. But people want to, I'm going to say what I think, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm going to be comfortable saying what I think. I feel like we're in a position where we can. I'm allowed to get under someone's skin if I feel like, what they're doing is annoying me, or what they do, I don't 100% believe in what they think. I don't have to worry about people taking it the wrong way. It's like, hey, I think this guy's weak. I'm going to call him out on it.
Yep.
If you don't like it, sorry, but you know what I mean, I'll show you anyway. So that's just how sort of what I mean. I was having, like you said, I was having a bit of fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm not going, I'll just play heel, bull vault, coming for fucking everyone. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, it ain't. Yeah, again, it's just we'll have a bit of right now. We're in that boat where you're going to have people carrying on. Like I've got the whole division. I've got guys that are everyone in the top 10 in our division is thinking they deserve a title shot. You know, because Max gets injured, and everyone just thinks that they're the guy to replace him. Coming off losses, guys ranked number 8, guys that aren't even in the division that are retired. You name it, and are literally carrying on about it. And then like really, and I just feel like, oh mate, this isn't how it's going to go down. You know, I mean, these are like, you know, and I can't wait to be in these guys' face and go, look at the mentality that you little bitches have. You want shit given to you. Go and earn that number 1 spot. It's easy. I'm an easy champ to understand.
Yep.
An easy champ to understand. Get that number 1 spot. Be the next guy, and you get the fucking shot. Plain and simple. Why do you think Max Holloway is getting another shot, a 3rd shot? Because he's proved he's the best guy under me. He's proved he's taken out other guys, and he's proved he's the next best guy. No one does that. I'm like the only guy that's probably ever done that. You know what I mean? And just I'm an easy champ to understand. Go out there, do your thing, get some wins, earn that, you know, top ranking. Don't let anyone, you know, if you feel like you're fighting someone for a number 1 spot, take him out. Don't let him do that. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. I took out everyone I had to put me in a position in front of where I was. I called out Chad Mendes. No one calls out Chad Mendes. You know, I was ranked number 10. I wanted that rank number 5. But I knew he was going to be ranked around 5. I wanted to fight him. I fought him, take that ranking. Aldo was number 1, taking out all the guys. I was going to fight him. I fought him in his hometown. You know what I mean? Fought him in his hometown while he was ranked number 1. Why did I do that? Because I want that ranked number 1 spot. And then no one can take that spot from me. I'm next in line. Plain and simple. Go and earn that number 1 spot. Stop carrying on like little, you know what I mean, little princesses, expecting shots given to you. When you're coming off a loss, I got Yair Rodriguez, who's really carrying on. He just lost. He didn't fight for over 2 years because he's running scared from like Zabit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I could just, you know, I can go on. You know what I mean? The dramas out, his suspension, USADA suspensions, all this type of stuff. He's like a little diva that the UFC have to put up with. They don't want him to have the shot anyway because he's a little diva they have to deal with. But then he's carrying on, expecting the number 1 shot. Go, mate, you just lost. You know, settle down. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So there's plenty to say. Again, usually, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if they're not saying nothing, I won't have something to say. But these guys want to chirp and want to carry on like little princesses. I'm going to have something to say. People want to act like I'm a heel because of it. Whatever. But, hey, that's what I mean. The mentality of these guys. That's why I'm going to be champ for a long, long, long time. None of these guys are taking the belt from me. Look at that mentality. Piss weak.
Love it.
Absolute piss weak.
You know, we're talking about heels, and that's, you know, there's different types of heels, and yours is the brutal honesty. You know, you're just throwing out, you know, the truth bombs, and you fought your way. You haven't done it cheaply. Basically, you've done it the hard way, and you're showing them up. So, mate, that was a quote-a-thon that. Thanks very much.
No worries, mate.
Mate, the fight against Ortega, it was insane. We spoke about it. We got ESPN's MMA Fight of the Year. When they asked you in the press conference, you said it was like how tight it was in the 3rd round, the holds he has. You said it was that tight I was going to lose my fucking belt tight, is what you said. To a bit of a casual like me, it looked like the guillotine was tighter, but that triangle that he had you in, it was fucking tight as well. Like, which one, if you had to pick, like, which one was
the guillotine? The worst? Guillotine. When I said that quote, that was me talking about the guillotine. The triangle was nothing compared to the guillotine. You know, I say that as in, like, because I was doing everything I needed to do, and then it was still tight. It was still like, you know, the lights were still dimming. So that's what I mean. Like, oh shit, like, I need to do more. Like, you know what I mean? But again, that just shows you again that we talk about the mentality, the guy I am, the human being I am, and not many people are going to get out in that position. You know what I mean? Like, because not only it's as deep as it's going to get with one of the best guys that can do it. Not only technically what he did the way he locked his hips in and kept that contact with his hips on my leg, the way he wrapped my legs up, he wrapped my arms up with his legs at the start. The position I was in, for him to even get that was impressive. And the way he can really hold that position, hold that depth was very impressive. So I was doing everything I can to just nullify a little bit of that, make that little bit of space to let me survive. And there was a point where it wasn't working. What I was doing everything right to try and make that space, and it still wasn't working. Not only most people wouldn't even try and do what I was doing because they're that deep, they would have just freaked out and lost anyway. Not many people could stay composed and be fit enough to be calm in that position. Then to do what you're doing and try and stay calm, everything's going like, you're doing everything you can and it's still not working, like, effectively straight away. You know what I mean? You're going to freak out.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, oh, shit, this ain't working, but fuck, I'm going to keep trying.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then me being that disciplined, that calm in that situation, that persistent, you know what I mean, to at least try and make that space. Because I was doing that, there was, again, if the blood and oxygen don't go to your brain, you're going to sleep. There was something else I was doing there that was giving me enough here and there. That consistency, that persistence that I was doing. And then because of that, his arms was given out before, even though I was in a bad position, my persistence in that position really, he ended up crumbling. He could not hold that, and then bang, the next minute, I made a bit of space, got my chin out, and that was it. He knew it was gone. So his arms had to give out before I could, you know what I mean? But again, people being in that position, I guarantee you it goes so much deeper than just being technical. You know, and a lot of people see that. No, they know it's grit. It's determination and grit to get out of that. It was technique involved, determination and will. Again, to have that determination and will when things were still not working, to still be like, I have to stick to the guns. You know what I mean? Like, because, there's nothing else I can do. I can either tap. That ain't happening. I can go to sleep. If I'm going to sleep, it's because it just happens while I'm trying to get out, plain and simple. But it was deep, man. It was deep. That's why I give him respect for him. But again, I'm not going to be put in many more positions that deep in my career. You know what I mean? There's people need to understand that. So people are going to, hey, you want to get for submissions on me? No worries. Let that gas tank, let your lactic acid build up, and easy money after that, whatever.
And that's the thing, you end up...
Now everyone's going to try and submit me, be like, I'm going to prove you wrong, I'm getting that submission. Come on, bring it.
Don't feed them too much. Mate, you obviously go on and win that one, you defend your title. What's next? You've called out the Korean Zombie the other day, and Ariel, he tweeted that both of you had agreed to that, and it looks like it's in the works. Can you give us any more on that?
Man, we don't know. Like, again, there's a few things that's going to happen. You're hearing a few things happening. Obviously, you hear, March, different opponent. Obviously, the Max thing is that's something I can confirm. Max is definitely injured. But yeah, I called out Zombie because, again, as I told you, I'm an easy guy to understand, right? So do your maths. If I'm an easy guy to understand, how does it work? Let's go to the rankings. The reason why I'm going to call it out is because obviously you got Max, can't fight, he's injured. He was the original guy. I just beat Ortega. Rodriguez just lost. And, he was I thought he was injured as well because he got carried out of the cage. You know what I mean? So I'm like, put it this way, if I'm getting carried out of the cage, something's seriously wrong.
Yeah.
But supposedly he reckons he started carrying on, so he reckons he can fight. So he probably didn't even break his foot. He's just being a little princess again. But anyway, he's coming off a loss. And then the next guy after that is Zombie, coming off a win. So I was like, that's the one that makes sense. All right, let's do it. I told you, easy to understand. I'm not calling out someone that's this is guy. If you calculate everything, do your maths, look at how things work. That's just the obvious guy for me. And again, that's just how I'm built. That's how my brain works. That's how my mentality works. You know what I mean? If he was coming off a loss, I'd probably go to the next guy maybe. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're getting a lot of people here talking about Henry Cejudo and things like that. I don't even know if he can fight. He keeps calling out fights, but I mean, you've got to be in the testing pool and all that type of stuff. So I don't even know if he can. So I don't even want to waste. But I don't even the UFC never bring his name up. Sorry, Cejudo, I don't mind you, mate, but you know what I mean? Like, he's sitting there acting like signing some contract. Trust me, the UFC have never mentioned your name. But anyway, I mean, they could come. You never know. Something could happen. They could throw his name out there. I don't know. But, a lot of these fights don't make sense. So for me, that's why that was the guy. I'm going, hey, you available? You all good? And we'll do it. But again, that's not locked in either. So we have to see what's up. I had a bit of fun on my Instagram.
I saw that. That's what I was going to bring up, because you're biting into a bone saying lightweight, and that was my next question.
Lightweight, baby.
Yeah, if there was so, and you've actually said it before as well, that you've got to think about the fights, and that could be a possibility. Is that was there talks of that as well? We just
that was just me having a bit of fun. That was just me, that was a Ronnie Coleman quote. Ronnie Coleman quote. I don't know what anyone's talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That's it. Like, it was just but lightweight, baby.
I love
just
it.
A little Ronnie Coleman. But I mean, obviously it was a bit of fun. Like, obviously I've seen a lot of people like going, "Oh, is there hints in a lightweight fight?" But you never know.
That's trolling 101. That is
trolling 101. But hey, you never know. Am I hinting again? I don't know. Now I'm really confusing people.
I think, honestly, you should, you're going through, you're saying, you did your maths and everything, change your nickname from the Great to Alex, the mathematician Volkanovski.
Mathematician. I've never been smart. Like, I'm not book smart. I'm useless in my vocabulary and all that. I'm surprised I could even say that word. You know what I mean? So that's, but I've always been good with like maths and figuring out puzzles and all that. That's how my brain works very well. So that's why you see me be good at what I do. Like how to I can calculate positions and you work out puzzles in the. That's why you see me adapting so well in fights and all that type of stuff, because I'm very good at problem solving. I can do it. You know what I mean? And then I've got the urgency. I've got the heart, and I've got the ticket. While I'm trying to problem solve, I've got the urgency and the mongrel and the fitness to at least try and pursue this problem. If it doesn't work, let's work this out. You know what I mean? So that's why it does work in my favor. The mathematician.
I like it. Yeah. One thing I'm going to ask before we move on to the Dragons is, I've been to a few UFC events in Australia, and during the rounds it gets pretty quiet. Like, fans can yell out stuff, you can hear fans from and it seems like the fighters can hear the fans during rounds. Now, I know you've got a lot going on, but have you found that you can hear the fans during fights, and is it different in the USA? Is it, or the fans a bit more noise about it, or?
It depends what's happening. Like, while people are fighting, usually there's silence. It's pretty silent, and you can even hear the cornerman talking to the fighters. You'll hear the fighters talk. You know what I mean? Like, you can actually hear that sometimes. The last fight, like mine and Ortega's fight, you couldn't hear a thing. Like, I couldn't hear my call. I can always hear my cornerman. I'm always talking to my cornerman. They'll be like, saying something like, "Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, going, yep. Like, and you hear me say that. I'm like, yep, talking to him while I'm fighting. But there was none of that this one. That's why there was a bit of confusion
that amped up.
It was that intense, mate. Like especially after the end of the second round when we got in each other's face, and then that third round, a lot was happening. Then obviously the chaos that happened in that, people were just going nuts the whole time. And then even when we went to the ground on the fourth, obviously it's that's where a lot of the action was. It's like, fuck, he could pull it off here again, or he's at least going to punch his head through the canvas. What's going on? So it was just absolute chaos. So while that was happening, and I started really landing some crazy ground and pound at the end of that fourth round, I could hear, like, I didn't hear much, and then I could just hear like screaming from my cornerman. I'm like, I think that's my cornerman. And I look at him, and I'm there like, up. Like, I could see their mouth reading and sort of them telling me to go up. And I thought they meant stand up, just get out of it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that's why you see me just pushing away. I stand up. And obviously it took him ages to get up. I'm like, get the fuck up. What are you doing? And then afterwards, the boys were telling me, we weren't telling you to stand up. We're just telling you to posture up, like rather than stay in his guard on your knees, like, posture up. Once you're on your feet, while he was still hanging onto the full guard, he was very vulnerable for the ground and pound. So they were just telling me to go there. But I mean, it was just, I couldn't hear, you know what I mean? It was just absolute chaos. So that's what it was like. But I mean, it was good. I loved it. I really enjoyed it, mate. I had so much fun in there. Did
you have a fight during the pandemic with no crowds?
Yep. So I fought Max
the second time. Yeah. Sorry, you
Oh,
thought
mate, you can hear everything. Yeah, there's like nothing. There's like silence.
You hear the commentators.
Max the second fight when we defended. So that was you could hear the commentators. You could obviously hear the cornerman. It was weird, mate. It was a weird feeling. The whole thing was weird. Like because that was a little rushed as well. Because all that was happening. Then they tried. We're doing the Fight Island thing. They got desperate. And that's why we only had like 6 weeks notice about that fight. We didn't even know. They started getting really desperate for that fight. And then we're like, all right, like, obviously we weighed all the options and all that. Then we got a good pay rise and things like that. We made sure, we were at least getting paid to fight short notice and all that type of stuff. And then going there and the no crowds and all that, mate, I hate it. Like it made me really understand why I love fighting in front of a crowd, man. It was such a, there's a whole heap of stuff, but, I won't get into it. But I mean, it was just,
does
never
it
again.
bring
I don't want to ever do
a bit of nervousness, like because there's no crowd, you miss it.
I had nothing. Yeah. I was like emotionless. There it was weird because I was like, because I'm really good at keeping myself calm, so I try to do the same thing. Anyway, again, I don't want to. Again, there was a couple of things that happened, and so like I wasn't on, so I wasn't all there for that one, and then the no crowd on top of that was terrible. So it was literally like a bad dream. Like, let's do this, you know what I mean? Like I had to really, everything was forced. The good way of putting it is everything was forced. There was no, and it wasn't just because of the no crowd. There was there was other things, but the no crowd and like everything was forced. Like when I say that, it's like, the boys were like, come on, you need to do more. You need to do more. I was trying to wait for my reaction. Yeah. I wanted, your muscle memory reaction, like, for your counters and all that, and just nothing was triggering like that at all. So everything was just do it yourself. Don't wait for your body to respond a certain way. Just do it. Like literally just do it. And it was weird. So it was a very uncomfortable feeling that I had to try and adapt to. But I mean, it was obviously, anyway, we got it done anyway, but like, so weird. And I'm like, man, I'm never fighting no crowd again. Get me crowds, baby. I want crowds again, because I am so good at, again, like hearing that energy, people going crazy. I can still keep myself so calm. So I can use that energy. I don't get too crazy and overzealous or anything like that. I keep myself real level, but the adrenaline's pumping, I get that blood pumping. I'm feeling the energy. It's running through the veins. You know what I mean? Yeah. That blood's going, ready to go. Everything's firing while being very, you know what I mean? Very composed. Yeah. Even me trying to go out, like pumping myself up, going out, like, obviously flying the flag high and talking your shit and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? All that. I didn't feel like that put any more nerves to me. That didn't hit me up anymore. That just kept me at such a good level that I'm like, let's do it again.
Well, hopefully we can get you back on Australian soil, defending the title, maybe at Bank West or something like that, to 60 or 70,000 screaming Aussies cheering you on for another title defence, mate. Mate, moving on to the Dragons, tell us a little bit about your role there and how it sort of came about.
Yeah, man, you can stand where I literally come straight from a session that we did with the boys. But yeah, man, just doing a bit of the wrestling with them. A lot of the footy rugby league teams, they usually have wrestling coaches, and they just do a bit of contact with the wrestling and things like that. So we're just doing that part, and yeah, it's good. I enjoy it. I'm even getting in there with some of the boys and some of the monsters that are obviously there. Just going in there and doing a bit with them. So it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I really am. But I'm always supporting the local anyway. So Dragons have always been my team. So yeah, man, we're really enjoying it.
Were you a Dragons or a Steeler growing up?
I'm trying to think when the Steelers come. I don't think I was fully into rugby league when they were Steelers. I'm pretty sure like I'd come in like it would have been just at the start. You know what I mean? Yeah. So both. Steelers, Drag. Yeah. So obviously more Steelers side of things, more because it's local, right? And I've always been here in the Illawarra. So I'm just trying to remember. Like, I'm pretty sure when the Dragons played, I'm trying to remember who they played a long, long time ago. I'm talking maybe 20-something years ago. They fought in the grand final.
Against
you
Melbourne.
Might know.
Melbourne 99.
Was it 99?
Yeah, they played lost to Melbourne in the 99 grand final.
And
that was their first year. I think they were leading. I was at the game. They might have been leading like 14-6. Yeah, 14-6, and they went to nearly scored another try, which would have put it almost out of reach, and then they end up losing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that actually, because so that was back then. So that was sort of where I started watching, because I remember I was in Stradbroke Island, maybe. I can't remember where I was, but when I was on a holiday with some of my cousin, and they were big Dragon supporters, bigger Steelers supporters. And they were watching. Me and my cousin were in the pool, and we're like, "Oh, we'll watch it." But like, they coming back and telling us, "Score, yeah, we're looking good." And then we decided, "Oh, let's go and watch." And this is I was young. We decided, let's go watch. As soon as I got there, they just started losing. They started scoring the drums. I'm like, it's my fault. It's my fault. You know what I mean? Back when I believed in that shit. So I was like, "Oh, no, I'm a curse." But so I still remember that. I still remember being in the pool and then be like, "Yeah, they're looking good. And it's literally as soon as I walked into that place, it just went downhill.
So your first watching of the Dragons is probably the worst 30 minutes of their history.
Luckily, I was young and I don't remember too much of it. I just remember thinking to myself that, oh shit, you know what I mean? Well, actually, you're right. So I do have that feeling when I think about it. So yeah, that feeling's worse than me remembering the game anyway.
Mate, you're at the club now.
Knowing that I let down all the Steelers, I let them all down. It was all my fault.
But you're at the club now, making amends, aren't you? You're at the club making a difference with them. Exactly. Tell us which Dragons players have impressed you most at training. We hear Blake Glory's got a pretty impressive headlock.
Pretty impressive headlock, yeah. Blake, he gets into. I know him actually from. I think he went to our school, and even he played at Really Gorillas. I remember him at like where I used to play. So very very young. Mate, he's a goer. He's a goer. Like he gets into it. Like you know what I mean. Like he's got a lot of mongrel in him. You could tell. Like you know what I mean. Like he'll do whatever he can to get that extra meter, get that. To make sure he finishes that tackle. There's a lot of them that are really impressive, mate. There's a lot of them. I'm not the best with names, to be quite honest. So I don't want to butcher anyone's names or get them wrong. But there's a lot of guys. There's guys that even are surprising when you look at some people with sizes and things like that. You know what I mean? Frames and all that. And then the way that they can use their body awareness and little key and, things that, that we keep an eye on. Some people can just naturally do these things very well. So that usually impresses me because I like to go into fine details, But yeah, there's a few of them. I won't name anyone.
Wrestling, grappling has always been a huge part of the training in the NRL, like you mentioned. What aspects of MMA are the most useful for the NRL players?
Oh man, obviously the wrestling and grappling. You've got to remember that there's going to be a lot of things that you're teaching that might not be specific for NRL. It's going to be a little bit different, but at least getting the guys using the right muscles, and knowing, how to nullify someone's power or get themselves stronger, putting their body in the right position, that body awareness that I'm talking about, that muscle memory and just knowing where the body needs to be in your strongest point and their weakest point and little things like that. We're doing that day in, day out. That's how we control our opponents. Yeah, we do it a little differently, but there's reason why certain things work at a certain time. It's just really picking some of them things that can be most effective in the game. But again, just getting them obviously in the live situations is going to go a long way because, again, we talk about that body awareness. Yeah, you could tell them to do one thing, and unless you put them in that position, they've got to fight for it, and really understand it and really get a good feel for them themselves, it will never work. So just getting them to wrestle in a safe environment so there's no injuries and just try and make it as specific as we can.
I think, some of the things that you've spoken about that you do yourself, that mentality, that grit, that determination, those sort of mentalities as well, that's what you're going to bring to a lot of these players. And, I'm a Dragons fan, so to see, the last couple of years is probably something that they've lacked a little bit. And, if you can bring that in, that'll be, impress, the other teams going forward.
Yeah, exactly right, man. It's that is a big part of it as well. Yeah, so we talk about it even when I was talking about it just earlier on about just urgency to just get a position, or someone was saying in the guillotines and things like that, and then just whatever I could do to just improve my position by 1%.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because that 1% that makes it go, that makes that next percent a little bit easier. You know what I mean? And then you know what I mean? So that little bit of urgency and I guess that grinding mentality again. Like, let's bust our ass here in the gym or wherever it is. You know, I mean, you get like, that's why a lot of these UFC fighters, a lot of people probably don't train how we do in the gym as MMA fighters as well. But that's sort of what we like, But I mean, it's no secret. We talk about, being, trying to be comfortable in uncomfortable positions and all that type of stuff. You hear people talk about it all the time. I was just talking about it today. Be comfortable in uncomfortable positions. Some of the things that we do in training, I've changed that phrase. It's not be comfortable in uncomfortable positions. It's accepting uncomfortable positions, because the positions my coach is going to put me,
not going to be comfortable.
I'll be lying if I say I'll make them comfortable. It is never going to be comfortable. These uncomfortable positions that are always going to be uncomfortable, I accept them and I deal with them a lot better. So me being able to deal with it and accept it means I can stay calm, move on, and do what I need to do to improve the position, rather than just fucking freak out and die in the ass. So with little things like that. So that's my mentality, and that's what it is. And I feel like a lot of MMA fighters or wrestlers can bring fighting for them little positions and things. I think that's why they can definitely be a big part in that as well. Again, it's only a small part of the game. Obviously, there's a lot of running and all that, but wrestling and controlling all that type of stuff, there's these little 1%ers can really make a big difference in.
I was about to say that 1%ers. It's a huge thing in rugby league. They always talk about it's doing that little 1%ers to make the difference. So you coming in and bringing that is, like I said, it's going to make a difference. Mate, we're going to finish off with a few fan questions. You don't have to spend too much time on these ones. Just indulge us. Well, this is actually one.
Mate, I like to rant. Come on, mate.
Yeah, I know. I love it. No, hey, go on as long as you want. If you've got time, we can go as long as you want. Mate, do you have? This is actually one just from me. This is not a fan, but do you have Dana White on speed dial? Can you just call him up anytime?
Nah, it's not like that. Nah, we deal more with the matchmakers. Obviously, Dana White keeps an eye on it. Obviously, when you see him over there and things like that, I usually I'll do my thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'll let the management deal with that. And obviously, when we see him, you shake hands and you're obviously all good like that. But yeah, more small talk.
Oh, I thought being a champion would have given you one of those little privileges where you could just ring him up and say, Hey Dana, what's going on?
I want to fight this date.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. I actually want to see, because he does this thing called Fuck It Friday, which is he does some, like, he either cook something or get his chef to cook something up. I want to see a collab like Fuck It Friday with cooking with Volk.
Exactly right. I enjoy it because they just try things. Doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's going to be good. Like, let's just try things. It's like, yeah, I don't know about that one.
Mate, he had
it's funny, like you
pickle pizza there the other day, and I would never ever think of trying it, but then he goes, "No, it's actually pretty good," and I'm like, "Oh, maybe I could."
It's funny because there's a lot of it seems like a lot of sponsored things coming in now, so it tends to everything's all of a sudden tastes nicer now. So I don't know about it. Like, I feel like you know what I mean? Like, where before you'd be like, you eat it, like when his chef does it. If he doesn't like it, he'll tell him straight, that's fucking shit. I don't like it. Nah, terrible. Don't do it.
He's very,
then there's times you'll be like,
honest.
Yeah, that's real good.
When it's a sponsored one, yeah, it does seem to turn around a bit. Mate, is there a Volk cookbook
I ain't
in the
accusing him of it. I ain't accusing him of that. But,
that was me.
You said it.
Yeah.
Now I won't have him on speed dial.
No calls. Block user. Is a Volk cookbook in the works?
Oh, mate, that's something you could always, fall back on. You know what I mean? And things like that. Yeah, for sure. Like, again, there's a lot of things that happen. You could definitely have a bit of fun with it. As you were talking about with collabs, like with Dana White, like that's something that, I'd love to do, like some collabs. I'm already doing it here and there, like even with some footy players and that as well, and some comedians and whatnot. And even cooks. I'm going to get like some real chefs in there and really show them, like, maybe I can like do something. Then I'm going to get them to show me some key little tips, and I'm going to let them plate them. I'll let them plate them and make my plates look fancy because, as I told you earlier, I don't really give a fuck about that. But as long as it tastes good, I'm happy. But I mean, I guess make it easier on the eye. Get some pros in there.
Mate, if you could bring one UFC fighter to make it in the NRL, who are you bringing over?
One, well, we're saying in the NRL.
So if you bring a UFC fighter from the UFC and bring them over to the NRL, who would you bring?
Okay.
Let's see. Would you go one of the big boppers, one of the heavyweights, or?
Mate, you would think so. I'm trying to think of an explosive wrestler type heavyweight. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think. Like, I think Daniel Cormier would have been pretty good, obviously. He would be hard to tackle. You can imagine Daniel Cormier would be hard to tackle being an Olympic wrestler.
He'd make like 50 Cormier. Tackles a game too.
Hey?
He'd make like 50 tackles a game
he would,
too.
Exactly, yeah. I'll go with Daniel Cormier.
Nice. Is there a Dragons player that's really impressed you that could make it in the MMA, do you think?
A Dragons player?
Yep. I'm guessing you probably haven't looked at all the NRL players, but you've specifically been working with the Dragons players. So if there's one that you think could make it in MMA, now I'm not talking, they're going to win a championship title in the UFC, but they might be able to make a career out of it in the MMA. I'm bad.
Again, I don't want to fucking butcher anyone's names or embarrass myself by getting the names wrong. But there's a couple guys that have done some MMA training. And because again, I'm getting in there with them, and you know what I mean. And so they're bigger than me, and because they got that little bit technique, you can tell, they got that little bit of technique, so they'll do well. And obviously they're athletic. And there's a couple. Again, I won't name it, but there's a couple guys there that you can see that they got the ticker, they got the mongrel, and then they got a bit of technique and all that as well. So they're the guys that I would. Obviously you got real talented guys that are fast and all that explosive, but is work ethic there and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other things that get involved. But there's a couple. I can't even say. I'll say one. I'm trying to remember. I think it's Moose. Is it Moose?
Oh, Moose. Josh McGuire. Yep.
Maybe that's one.
The other one I thought of, you had him on the show. You had him on Cooking with Volk the other day. Tariq Sims. He looks like he's got
Tariq Sims, mentality. See him too. Mongrel. Him too. He's another one. Yeah. I think so, yeah. So, yeah, again, you probably picked the two.
Sorry to everyone else. Next week at training, pit Josh McGuire against Tariq Sims, and then come back to us with the results.
See how they go.
Mate, with all the...
exactly. No, but I mean, there's a couple of goals.
With all the changing weight divisions from fighters of late, do you really just want to cement your legacy at featherweight?
Man, I do, but I mean, there's definitely, I definitely want to feel out some different divisions as well. You know what I mean? People are doing it, and I think I can do it. I've fought in. It's not like I'm just doing it out of nowhere. I fought a fucking middleweight. You know what I mean? I fought a middleweight. I fought a welterweight. I fought plenty of times at lightweight. My debut was at lightweight. So in the UFC, it was at lightweight. So I've had catch weights close to lightweight. You know what I mean? So. It's something that, I'm already familiar with, and I know I can hold my own in that one. So it's not like I just want double champ. You know what I mean? I want to, because I'm planning on being champ for a long time. So there's going to have to be something else I've got to do. You know what I mean? Otherwise I'm just going to be going on repeat with some of these top contenders. You know what I mean? So there's going to be times where they're moving up. Like say even now, I did throw out that lightweight, little hint thing, playing with that, you know what I mean? Like, say if that was to be, all right, this makes sense, here we do it now, boom, boom, let's do it. I'll do it. You know what I mean? I would. So that's when you could do it. Times like that where things could go wrong or whatnot. Things have gone wrong, or the division's sorting itself out. Let's squeeze one in. But other than that, I've got a division hold. It's a responsibility. And I've always stuck to my guns and said that I'm going to be a good champion. I ain't going to be the one that holds up divisions and whatnot. So I'm going to stick to that.
What's the hardest exercise you have to do when trying to cut weight?
Hardest exercise?
Yeah. Is there one?
Just cut and wait,
Just
mate.
cut and
Like,
wait
you know,
in general.
I mean, like, yeah, man, like, just obviously, what's hard about it is you're gonna fight week. You're gonna obviously the calories get lower, your energy goes lower because of the not as much carbs and all that. But you still need to train, so you're gonna feel shit. You're gonna not feel good. You know what I mean? And a lot of people use that excuse to not do anything. But I'm the type of guy that look, we're not trying to kill ourselves the last week, but we still need to get sessions. We still need to perform. We still need to game plan. We still need to do stuff. So I still need to be effective in my sessions. So trying to be effective whilst feeling like shit, you know what I mean, is probably hardest. Because, I mean, it sucks to get rid of the weight, but, I mean, that's all I need to do at the time. Right now, it's just let's get that weight off, you know what I mean? Even though it sucks, it hurts. It's sweating it out, and you still got you look and you're like, man, I still need a little bit more. I'm already struggling. That's tough, obviously. But I'm the type of guy that, I'm all about performance and, and the one percenters and all that type of stuff. And my last week of fight week, that last week is still pretty important to me. We do pull it back a lot, but we still need to perform a little bit and still go over a few things and just tighten everything and get everything perfect before you go in. And doing that while you don't want to train can be hard.
If you'd give one piece of advice to someone who wanted to start out in MMA, what would you give them?
Just do it. I'm still in the Nike's logo there. Just do it, man. Like that's probably one thing I can go, because when I say that, it's just there's going to be times I just sort of talked about it then. There's going to be times where you don't feel like going to the gym. There's going to be times where you don't want to fight from a position. There's going to be times where, you know what I mean? But you're going to need to just do it. You'll get through it. You know what I mean? Learn to just do it. Learn to accept feeling like shit, feeling like uncomfortable, and, and things like that goes a long way. It goes a long way. Not only you get better in positions because you're actually always fighting for whatever position you do, you know what I mean? Your fitness goes up, your cardio goes up, your style is going to be a lot better because you're going to have that never give up attitude, you know what I mean? And you get to really figure out what you do good and what you don't do good, you know what I mean? Because you're going to constantly be finding things to do. When you're in a position that's not comfortable, I can just give up. What do I learn from that? Not only that my mentality and what person I am is weak, you know what I mean? That just brings you down. You don't get to feel out things. You don't get to experiment because you're already given up. Where if you just do it, you know what I mean? There's more hours spent experimenting in positions and really figuring out where you're good, where you're not, what works for you and what doesn't.
If you're not already sponsored by Nike, you should be. Just do it. Get your face on that tick. Mate, I want to thank you very much for your time today. That's gonna wrap it up. You're going into camp shortly for your next title defence. Good luck with all of that. I can't wait to see you back in the octagon, and hopefully we get to see you here in Australia defending the title at one stage.
That's it, mate. Hopefully later that year. Yeah, obviously I've got to fight whoever it's going to be. Max should be later in the year, and we should be having arenas and stadiums back open here, or the UFC should be more comfortable coming to Australia by then. So thank you anyway. Hopefully that happens. But go to Dragons.
Go to the Dragons. Appreciate your time. Thanks again, mate, and good luck with everything going forward.
No worries, mate. Thank you.